Have you ever wondered why some people are so easy to manipulate? Well, over the years, I've discovered certain types of people who are especially vulnerable to manipulation. I've personally used this method to really understand how people think, how they react, and how you can easily influence them without them even realizing it. Trust me, once you know these tricks, it's like reading their minds and steering the conversation in any direction you want. For the past 2 years, I've been studying peoples, and trust me, I've learned a lot. There are certain types of folks who are just way easier to manipulate than others, and I've gotten pretty good at reading them. It's like unlocking a cheat code for every conversations. So if you want to know how to manipulate these 10 types of peoples, stick with me. I'm about to show you exactly how I've been doing it. Tip number 1, fear and comfort seekers. Fear and comfort seekers are people who always look for the easiest, most comfortable path. They don't like feeling uncomfortable or anxious, so when faced with challenges, they quickly want to avoid them sometimes, even if it means ignoring long-term consequences for short-term real life. Their main goal is to avoid any kind of pain, whether emotional, mental, or physical. And they'll do whatever it takes to protect their peace of mind. This makes them vulnerable to being manipulated, especially when they feel uncertain. To manipulate them, you would play on their need for safety and comfort. You could use fear to your advantage, exaggerating potential risks or consequences to make them believe that staying where they are is the safest choice. Once they feel uneasy, you can step in as their protector, offering reassurance and presenting yourself as the one who can keep them safe. They'll start depending on you for security, which makes it easier for you to influence their decisions, since they'll fear losing that comfort. Tip number 2, overconfidence. Overconfident people often think they have everything under control. They believe they're always right, which can make them careless and ignore important details. Because of their arrogance, they think they're always ahead of everyone, which gives them a false sense of security. They end up trusting their own judgment too much and dismissing advice from others. To take advantage of them, start by acting like you're not as skilled or capable. Let them think they're better than you, boosting their ego. When they feel superior, they'll let their guard down. That's when you can start steering things in your direction, without them realizing they're being manipulated. Their overconfidence will make them blind to any risks you set up. Tip number 3, approval seekers. Approval seekers are people who really crave validation from others. They're always working hard to make sure they look good and are liked by everyone. They're super focused on what others think of them, and often put their own needs aside just to get approval. If you want to manipulate them, start by giving them compliments and making them feel good about themselves. Once they feel validated, they'll start depending on your praise. Then, switch things up and criticize them. Make them think they've let you down. This will trigger their need to get your approval back, and they'll do whatever it takes to please you and win back your favor. Tip number 4, uncontrollable anger. People with uncontrollable anger have a hard time managing their emotions, especially when something or someone triggers them. When they're angry, they can't think clearly and act on impulse, often making decisions they'll regret later. This lack of control leaves them open to manipulation because their emotions take over their judgment. To manipulate someone like this, you'd want to figure out what really sets them off. Once you know their triggers, you can bring them up on purpose to push their buttons. When they get angry, their ability to think rationally goes out the window, and you can influence them to make choices that benefit you. They won't be thinking straight, so they're more likely to act without realizing the consequences. Tip number 5, naivety. Naive people tend to trust others easily and believe the best in them. They see the world with an innocent, idealistic view, thinking most people are good. Because of this, they don't always question others' intentions, which can leave them open to being manipulated. If you wanted to manipulate someone like this, you'd first need to come across as trustworthy and caring. By building that emotional connection, you gain their trust. Once they trust you, you can share only the info that fits your agenda, knowing they'll believe you without second guessing. Because they don't usually question motives, they'll follow your lead without realizing they're being used. Tip number 6, impulsive decision makers. Impulsive decision makers act on their emotions or desires without thinking things through. They make quick choices based on what feels good in the moment, not considering what could happen down the road. This makes them easy to manipulate, as they don't take the time to weigh all their options. If you want to manipulate them, create a sense of urgency. Make them think they're about to miss out on something if they don't act fast. By presenting the situation as time-sensitive, they'll feel pressured to make a snap decision without thinking, which works in your favor. Tip number 7. People pleasers. People pleasers are peoples who always put others' happiness first, even if it means neglecting their own needs. They hate conflict and try hard to keep everyone happy, even if it harms them. They also have a hard time saying no because they fear letting people down. If you want to get them to do something, all you need to do is show a little disappointment or hint that you're not happy with them. Since they're so focused on making others happy, this will make them try extra hard to please you and fix things. They'll probably agree to things they normally wouldn't just to avoid upsetting you. Tip number 8. Perfectionists. Perfectionists are people who care a lot about getting things just right. They set really high standards for themselves and others, and they can get caught up in every little details. They hate making mistakes, so they often spend too much time trying to perfect things, even when it's not necessary. If you want to get them to do more than they can handle, you can gently point out tiny flaws in their work, even if they don't matter much. This will trigger their fear of failure, and they'll dive in to fix everything, sometimes pushing themselves too hard. They'll end up taking on more than they should just to meet your expectations. Tip number 9. Curious individuals. Curious people have a natural urge to discover new things and often notice details others overlook. While this is a great quality, it can also make them easy to manipulate. To do this, you can hold back some information or drop a hint that leaves them waiting more. This triggers their need to figure out what's missing, and they'll get focused on uncovering it. As they chase that answer, they might overlook other important things, giving you the chance to steer the conversation or situation however you like. Tip number 10. Jealous or competitive people. Jealous or competitive people are always comparing themselves to others, trying to be the best. They get envious when they see someone doing better or getting more attention. Because they tie their worth to being better than others, they're easy to manipulate. To manipulate them, talk about other people's achievements in a way that sparks their competitive side. You can casually suggest that they could do even better if they make certain changes or take certain steps. This will make them want to outdo others, pushing them to do what you want. Just make them feel like they have the chance to be the best, and they'll focus on your goals. Now you know the secrets to influencing these 10 types of peoples. Trust me, once you start using these tricks, things will get a lot easier. But there's more to come, and I'm ready to share it all with you. So hit that subscribe button and stick around. I've got plenty more to teach you. Let's make this journey one to remember. See you in the next video.